In this chapter, we're going to introduce Java programming by writing the first program that most programmers write in a language, a program that displays Hello World on the screen. In this first lesson, we're going to see how to enter the program into the text editor. That's our first step. So the first thing we want to do is open up a DOS prompt, get to your Documents folder, wherever your documents are stored, and then to make it easy to retrieve the programs that we work on, create a directory inside your Documents folder, or create a folder called Java. I'm doing it by typing md Java for make directory. Once you've done that, then you can change directories into that folder by typing cd Java for change directory. And that puts us in the Java folder. Now I'm going to clear the screen to make sure that our screen is clear. Now we want to begin writing the program, so we have to create a file to store our program. Programs are stored in files, and then the compiler is run on that file. So we're going to do that by calling Notepad with the name of the file. Now let's spend a second and talk about how Java programs are named, or the files are named. They have to begin with a capital letter, and I'll explain why in a moment, and then they also have to have a .java extension. The compiler looks for that when you try to compile the program, and without it, the program won't compile. So, capital letter to start the file name, and a Java extension. Now we're ready to open the file, so just hit enter at this point, and ask us if we want to create a new file, and we say yes. The first thing we type is the words public class and then the name of the file. This is actually the name of a class because every Java program is itself a class. And notice that my class name is the same as my file name, including the capital letter, and that's very important. Classes in Java have to begin with the capital letter. The capital W in world is not that important, but I like to separate my words with capital letters to make it easy to read a multi-word name. So that's why I capitalize the W, but the H has to be capitalized. Drop down to the next line and type an opening brace. The brace signifies that we're beginning the definition of the class, and we'll be talking a lot more about that. And then indent at least 3 spaces or 2 spaces. It doesn't really matter so much as long as you indent some. Then type the words public static void main, open parenthesis, capital S string, open and close brackets, and then the word args. Just like that. Public static void main string args. Very quickly I'll explain why we do this. The compiler is looking for a method called main. The compiler looks for that as the place to begin compiling the program. So every class at some point has to have a public static void main, or just a main method somewhere in it. All our program's going to do is print hello world, so we'll have the main method right here without anything else. Underneath that, put an opening curly brace. This brace signifies the beginning of what's called a block. All methods have blocks. The block is where the code that goes inside the method is contained. Drop down to the next line and indent from there, and then type the word system.out.print line, ln, not the whole word line, but we say print line because that makes more sense than saying print loon. It's hard to say. It doesn't make any sense. Open parenthesis, double quote, hello world, exclamation point, close double quote, close parenthesis, and then a semicolon. Let me explain a little bit about what we're doing here. We're wanting to print the phrase hello world to the screen. The screen, or the terminal, or the console, is represented by system.out. And as we go through the course, I'll explain more about what all that means. We have to tell that object, if you want to think of it as an object, what to do, and what we want to do is we want to print a line, and the line we want to print is hello world. And then we end that with the semicolon. I'll be explaining all this syntax quite a bit as we go through the course. We close the block with a closing curly brace, and then we close the class definition with another closing curly brace. And that finishes up the program, and that's all we have to write. And again, it's okay if you don't understand what every single piece of this means. We'll be discussing it a lot more throughout the course, but this is what we have to have a working program. Before we end this lesson, let's save the file. So we're going to click File Save to make sure it's saved, and now we're finished. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to compile and run this program.